Okay, I decided to do another video. This video won't take long. I'm doing this on the OP-1, and I'll show some of the things. I need to do some videos with it because I hardly ever do. And I think it's definitely video worthy. And I know a lot of people hate it and mostly they hate because of the price. I have no control over the price, nor did I choose the price. And if it was up to me, yes, it would be cheaper so more people could have it. However, that being said, I will talk about some of the ways I use it, because what I've noticed is that people think it's like a one-trick pony, and it's really not. It does way more than what you think. So yes, does it have some synth engines that are interesting? Yes. Has sound. I mean, you can use their synth engine, sound design. So all that stuff that you hear is true. They do have that. You can import your own other people's sounds. Like I use Rephaser stuff a lot because I like it. So it does have those kind of ambient sounds. It's fun for a lot of reasons. One, because it's a 25 key keyboard. It's portable, super portable. You can see, if you see on the camera, how thin that thing is. The only thing that's making mine look a little thicker is these legs I use. And I only use them because it makes it easier for me to play the piano. When it's like this is kind of hard for me. So if it's sitting like this, that's the reason why I use the legs. Plus I can see the screen when I'm like that too. So the screen doesn't have a tilt on it. So you gotta, with the legs, you can, let me move the SP out of the way for just a second. Just right there, okay. Let me make sure you can see that, okay. So it feels like I'm on a keyboard typing, right? But then at the same time, it does have the one quirky part of it that are not quirky, but just thing I don't like is they only have 4 tracks. But what I do with my tracks is I'm not looking at this as more for drums as I am as a synth. For me, the strong point of it is a synth. And so I use it for the synth in it, but you can also sample things in it. It has a radio built into it. That's another good, cool feature. Of course, you can get apps on the iPad that have that stuff. The things in it are not like anything beyond what you can get elsewhere. So I'm not going to tell people if you can't afford it, or if you can't, or if you don't like it even, just don't buy it. You know, I understand that's pretty much where it is. But what is cool about it is it works great for recording in things like to the SP. I use it with it all the time, and I'll record in. Another feature that people kind of sleep on, and it's not a huge feature, but it has Bluetooth built into it. So yes, you can Bluetooth and play to your iPhone, to your iPad, to your computer. You can use it as a MIDI controller, right? Because it does have the ability to have MIDI. So it becomes that. And it has one, I'm trying not to make this thing echo. But if you go into here, let's say go into sampler. It has a microphone. You can see the meter jumping right there. So it has a microphone that you can use. And let's see, what else was I going to say about it? You can resample from out or from off the track. So let's say you listen to the radio, you capture something you want, and you see me do this on computer as well as in Koala. I mean, on the iPad. You can capture something and then just resample that, right? And then there's 4 tapes on it. So all the videos, I'm not going to go over everything that's on it, but there's 4 tapes. I would classify the tapes as more like a, let's see. I would classify the tapes are these different ones, the disc mini, porta track, vintage 4 track in the studio. It's just different colorations. So the vintage is going to be a warmer, kind of dirty, a little bit sound. The porta capture 4 track is definitely going to be a dirty sound, and the disc mini is it's probably going to get grittier the further you go down. I very rarely use these others. I primarily use the Studio 4 track because it's the cleanest one, and then if I want to add grit or something, I'll just do it later. The speakers are not bad. This is a track I did in it. And if I use that, I can skip back and forth on the part on the. But you see, you can make some cool stuff in it, right? And then you can go and send that sound out to another device. And let's say you got your drums in Koala. You're on the, maybe you're not on the SP, or you're on the SP. Send it in, do your drums in the SP, and use this as the synth and the bass, right? Because the bass is not bad, but you can sample a bass, right? You can put a bass sample in here, one shot, and then take that bass or buy somebody's bass like I've done, if you want to do that. Rephaser makes all kinds of basses, but I'm going to show you the one I like the most. I actually brought it in here. He makes an antique bass. It's actually in the drum synth because he sampled a real bass. So he sampled across 25 keys, and these are the actual samples on each one versus it being like a spread of one shot. But you can. Now you say that don't sound too good. Well, when you put it in the SP or you put it into something else that got a little more oomph behind it, you're going to hear the bass. Right now, you're just hearing it through this little speaker and this speaker on the side and this little speaker on that side. So all the speakers, if you notice, are on the same side. And it probably would sound better if I took it off here and put it on the table. Right? Because the bass gets deeper. But when you plug your headphones in, it sounds immaculate. Like, I'm not lying. It sounds really good. I'm trying to put this leg back on now that I take it off. So don't sleep on that. That's a cool bass sound. I made one myself from Trillion. Where is it at? Not in here. Mine would be in here. So bass. It's harder to hear. I guess I could have plugged it into the SP and let you hear it through there. Let's do that real quick. Showed y'all this before. Pretty much in here. Oops. In here. I'm going to turn on that so you can hear it. I turned the speakers off. Of course I would. I didn't think I was going to show all this, but maybe I should have thought that through. All right, here we go. So then listen to a track through it. Of course, you have a mixer. So you can pan stuff, mix it. I'm very picky about keeping my stuff clean if I can, I know. So you guys hear, oh, I didn't even show you the effects. So you have like tape stop and low pass filter. I think this is a high pass filter maybe. I always get confused on this one, but you can change these two. You can actually add something to memory. Of course, you got, if you go back in, you can use the effects. You got all these extra features that you can manipulate your stuff. And one of the coolest things, not coolest, but ADSR right here. Turn the effect off. Seeing the wave, 32-bit. I mean, it's a amazing tool. Not all the time do you want to sit at a laptop or, no, the SP, I don't mind that, sitting at that. But not all the time do you want to sit, even with the iPad. Like, I'll be honest, there's times where it's like, I don't want to look at that. You know, so I want to get away from that sound or that particular device and move away and do something totally different to take my brain off of looking at a screen. Because I work and look at a computer all day. So sometimes going to the computer, I'll be going there just to finalize or finish something, but I want to start with the SP or with this, so I can make my moves. So the OP-1 field is an amazing little tool. And yes, it's amazing that it costs that much. But I would, like I say, save up for it. You don't have to buy it right away. You can wait. You can. There's all kinds of options and ways to get one. If you really desire it, then you'll go for it. And if you don't, then you won't. And that's okay too. It's whatever makes you happy. There are bigger tools and things, especially at this cost, that can give you better sound even. But maybe even more features if that's what you want. But the question is, does it make you more creative? Well, maybe it does, but maybe it doesn't. Maybe it's like you're going to get it like I did. I got a few things, ended up returning them because I just didn't, I got them, I wasn't excited. It was like the excitement was the getting the item. And then once I got it, I was like, this ain't really that exciting. So for me, if I'm using it, then that's where the excitement comes into play. And that's where the worth comes in for me. I have to use the item because you can have a Ferrari, and if you never drive the thing, it just sits in a room. And maybe that's your worth, is just sitting in the room. But for me, I'd have to be out in that thing. If I paid that kind of money, I'm going to be using it. Okay. That's just, and I have drove a Ferrari before and other cars. I didn't find nothing spectacular about it other than it looks cool. But if it looks cool and I don't use it, then of what value is it really to me? That's for everyone to figure out. That's my take on it, my thoughts. Some people don't agree with that. That's okay too. But I'm just saying, whatever you get, use. The SP is amazing. Okay, the SP is an amazing tool. $500, probably one out of all the things I've gotten, probably one of the best investments to me was the SP. I had the MPC. It didn't do it for me. Now, I still love it and think it's a great tool, but I get bored with things really quick. And if it don't hold my attention, or if it don't make me want to use it when I look at it, I looked at the MPC, and you know what I loved about the MPC? I enjoyed the plugins. I enjoyed the plugins and the MIDI editing. And that was my favorite parts of it. But then when I walked away from it, I would look at the SP and be like, ooh, I want to turn this on, right? Or I look at the OP-1 and be like, yeah, that's the one. I want to turn that on, right? And I probably use this thing every single day, literally. I'll use the SP every day too because it's my audio interface. It's also my sampler, and I love making drums in it because I enjoy trying to be creative with the way I use the effects on the drums to try to make them sound different and fatter, and it's just fun. I enjoy that for some reason, but it may not be for you, and that's okay. So back to the OP-1 because I'll start ranting. You see that? So it does have a drum sequencer. That was the and it has some built-in drums in it too. That's my stuff there, but some interesting little sounds. You can save snapshots of your favorite things that you collect, even if you sample in from the radio. If you want to collect some stuff, you can do that. So let's go to Eldre. I have Eldre's drums in here, or some of them that I like. There we go. Them drums is hitting, okay? Eldre drums, volume 4. I like them a lot. That's one of my favorite drum packs. It's in my top 10 drum packs for sure that I've picked up. And I've had some free ones that I like too, but I really like those. So anyway, I put in okay, all that wasn't supposed to happen, but anyway, this over here, unfortunately, I didn't have enough samples at the time that I was going to use. I just wanted to make a quick one. So most of my samples end about right here. So I should have filled up the rest of them. I didn't, unfortunately. But I'll probably go back and do it. This was just to try it out. So I got... yeah, so drum kits, bringing them in. Now, what I'm not happy about right now is the OP-1 drum utility is only made currently for the original OP-1. So they haven't updated where you get the full 20 seconds. You only get 12 seconds on there. And the problem is, like, I want to fill the 20 seconds. But, when you do a crash, those take up a lot more seconds because they're longer samples. So, that's one of the things I'm waiting on. I'm patient, though, because as long as we've had so many updates since this thing came out. They added one of the biggest, that was, to me, the velocity sensitivity in the keys, changed the dynamics of everything and made it so much better. So that's been added. And you'll have these purists say, well, that's not velocity, whatever. It works the way I need it to work, okay? That's all that matters. Anyway, the OP-1 drum utility. So it wasn't created by Teenage Engineering, but somebody made it. But hopefully they'll update that sooner, not later, because that would be nice so I can start putting more drums in here. I like to have, but honestly, I don't use a lot of different drums. When I'm in the SP, I'm usually taking the drums and just putting some extra something in them to give them my own little twist or whatever. So I'm not really sweating it that much, and I don't do drumming in here that much to worry myself about it. What else? I know I'm leaving off one thing I was going to say. Oh, the pattern. Yeah, the pattern sequencer. So there are some cool ones in here. Let me go back in here and find a keyboard. Oh, here's one I made. It's from it's the Grandeur piano in the Native Instruments piano. That's what I did. I just sampled it. And then I added in a spring reverb, which is right here, which you can turn down. Yep. And then I added in, I didn't put any effects on it. No, I did. That was the effect. I'm sorry. And then I could mess with this a little bit, but I didn't really do too much with the LFO. So anyway, there's the sample. Let me turn the bus effects off on the SP because it's running through the 303 compressor, which is okay, but sometimes it'll kind of add a little extra hiss on it. Okay, and then you have this one, which is the you can add more swing to it, have it hold. And then sample that. Change up the speed of it and so on and so forth. The endless, which is normal. Everybody knows this one. Hold shift and play a melody. And then press a key and it'll play back. Change the speed. Okay, then you have the finger. I probably use the finger more on the drums if I'm using it. So, like sometimes, like if I just want to do a simple, you got swing up here. It's easy to record on here using something like this. I mean, you can do it by hand too, but the biggest thing that people complain, there's no undo. Well, I mean, on tape, you just kept recording over tape. You didn't have an undo. You would have to delete it and come back and record over it. So that's the reason why there's no undo, because technically a tape reel didn't have undo. But people want it, so maybe they'll add it later on. I'm not really tripping on it because most of the time I'm recording a 4 to 8 bar riff, right? And so I don't mind if I make one little mistake on it, just recording over it. Just erase it and do it again. The only time it matters to me or I even care is when I'm doing the drums. If I make a mistake on a drum, it is hard to go back because now you got to redo the whole drums. So the technique or workaround for it is make yourself a copy of what you made the first. If you like the first piece you do, make a copy of that. Then keep making copies as you go. So that way you don't, if you make a mistake, you can go back. Maybe someday we'll get the undo. I keep pressing that button. All right, pattern. So pattern is like pretty much like a grid, right? You can go in there and label your pattern. Change the swing. But you only get 16. So this is the one I was saying I wish they would just allow you to have more. At least let you have up to 64. So you could go in and do all your drumming, programming that you want to do. I mean, it'd be nice to have at least 4 bars, 4 to 8 bars, somewhere in that bracket. Right now, this is like a 1 bar. I think that's 1 bar. Yeah, just like a 1 bar. So it would be nice to have more than a bar. That's kind of lame. They could put at least 4 bars in there. That would be nice. Because I wouldn't want to have to do 1 bar and then come back and then work on another bar. Unless I'm going to make minor tweaks in it, that might be okay. So like if I'm just going to do, okay, this bar is going to have this basic, and then I'm going to add in a few more, something like that. Maybe the next bar, I don't know. That's your options though on the pattern portion. Some of these are really good. I don't understand this one. I'm not even going to go there. It's like a drawing. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch pad. It's kind of fun to mess with, but I don't really know what I would do musically with that at all. So I'm going to skip on past that. Tombola is interesting. You can speed it up. It actually would be cool for some it's like random stuff. Speed up the... Now, I find this one... That's weird. This might be cool if you put like... I gotta stop it. This might be fun. This would be fun more with a melody or like some type of like ambient vibe. Because a lot of the stuff in here I do feel caters toward an ambient sound, in my opinion. Kind of lo-fi and ambient. Which I like both of those sounds, so it works for me. But it may not work for everybody. But this will be cool with like maybe some hi-hats. Some different variation sound hi-hats just dropped in here, and then let it just kind of create you a hi-hat pattern of some weird, or some shakers or something like that. Let's see if how do we open, there you go. So you can open it up and get rid of it. And then let's see, where is my, so there's a hat. Then you started spinning. And you can record that and then have like a hi-hat pattern. Oh, and you gotta. I mean, this is very creative and fun, though. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes it makes me, it's laughable because it's like very young kid-like, but then at the same time, I am still a kid in some ways, you know, grown kids. But yeah, but we like toys and we like playing with stuff. So there's some, see that? And then you could, see, now I'm gonna get caught up in playing this. Speed it up. spin it too fast, it'll drop one of them. I don't know. It's felt like it was getting faster there for a second. So anyway, I spent too much time on this one little thing. Okay, all right, let's get out of here before I keep going and then I never finish here. Turn that sequencer off. So you can see you can make cool tracks, R&B, kind of mellow, jazzy grooves. You can make stuff that sounds like this. Hold on. Kind of like super ambient, kind of, but still has some melody to it. Or you can make stuff that sounds like, I don't even know what this is. That's probably more R&B. But you can do some crazy stuff. And the tape, to me, this tape deck, like build a beat like at 90, 100 beats per minute, and then just slow the deck down to where the tape runs real slow, and it starts sounding really kind of melodic and ambient. It'll sometimes put me to sleep, but anyway, so that's fun. Let's talk about this jazzy song. What's dope too is you can sample real instruments. Like let's say you want to put your drums, a drum pattern through. Check this out. You don't want them extra clean. You want them to sound like they're in a room. You can take the mic, because the mic is really good. Hence the word field, like a field recorder. You go out and capture stuff. You could go and capture like the sound of your speakers pumping out your drums. And that could be your drum pattern in the song. And just do, I mean, you just have to be, you can't be like, if you want so structured, so rigid, then probably the best thing is stay on a DAW, because that's gonna it can keep you in that box, right? To where you feel it. But if you want to explore and try stuff and see if you can come up with some different sounds, to me, this is the way to go. And if you don't like the drum in part of it, well, then don't do the drums in it. Do your drums somewhere else and bring them into here. And then just use this for the synthy parts and the other portion of it. But this with Koala, if you just have a phone or an iPad with AUM and Koala, you can do some real cool tracks. And you can flip-flop between going MIDI versus like audio, using the output into it. So if you got the right hub, you can do some interesting stuff. I've been on this video for 30 minutes. I'm not going to do this type of video for the OP-1 again. I'm just doing it one time. So I just wanted to put something out there about the OP-1, because I mention it in videos all the time and I use it all the time, but I didn't really sit down and make a video. And part of that is because a lot of people are straight hating. I ain't gonna lie, that's just hating. Like, let them people, if they're gonna charge it, just don't pay for it if you don't want it, but don't hate. End that right quick and get busy with making music. That's the more important thing. All right, to keep this under 30 minutes, I'm gonna stop talking because I know how that's gonna go. And yeah, hopefully on the next one, we'll get back into some more other stuff with the SP as well as the OP-1. You'll see me use it more coming up. So hang with me, and hopefully we're on the chase to get to at least 1,000 subscribers. That's really challenging, but I think if I stick it out, we'll get there. And I want to get to 1,000 because it would be nice to monetize my stuff to where at least I could try to get, some kickback for it. Right now, everything's on me, but I don't mind doing it because I enjoy what I do and it's fun. So I'm having fun. All right, guys, until the next one, I'm out.